Hello, AP Biologists. Mrs. Grider here to talk about body systems. By the end of this video, you should know the hierarchy of organization in the body and also have some good food for thought about how the body systems that you read about this summer are interacting. I'm not going to go over every system in detail. Instead, I'm mostly just going to focus on how those systems interact. So make sure to keep track of any questions that you have. Email me, text me if there's something about the system that you still don't get. So let's start. Hierarchy. So a hierarchy is a word that could apply to science or to other things, but it's any system of ranking and organization. So in your body, there is a hierarchy or levels of how your body systems are organized. And the organization hierarchy is this. Cells make up tissues, which make up organs, which make up organ systems, which make up a whole human body. So each one of these things makes up the next level. So because of this means that it's true to say that your body is made of cells. It's also true to say that your body is made of organs. Because if I look at this hierarchy right here, I can see that the organs themselves are made up of tissues, which are made up of cells. So each one of these levels in the hierarchy is part of the level that comes after it. This is important to remember because we don't want to think that tissues are somehow separate from cells. They're made of cells. In the same way, tissues aren't separate from organs. They're the things that organs are made of. So keep that in mind as we talk about body systems. Here's an example to help clarify. On this side, I have a picture of the cells and tissue side, and over here I've got a picture of the whole body. So let's start large and work our way to be smaller. So here's the whole human body, and then in color right here, I have the digestive system. So that's made of multiple organs that work together to help digest and break down your food. In the digestive system, the organ I'm going to focus on right now is the small intestine, which is in pink and purple and yellow right here. And this is where the food goes through. It gets broken down a little bit more, and it gets absorbed into the body so that those nutrients can be delivered to all of your cells. So here's the small intestine. Now, if I zoom in on the small intestine a lot, I would actually see the tissues. Now, the tissues in this picture are the different colored bands that you see. So this red band right here is what's called epithelial tissue. Right here in the white, we have some more internal tissue to the small intestine. And if I look really carefully at those tissues, at these bands of color that I see in red and then here in white in the middle, I can see tiny little dots. And each one of those tiny little dots is one individual cell. So now I'm going to go the other way. I have these little dots, which are my cells, which make up these tissues, these bands of cells right here. When I put those tissues together, I get an organ, the small intestine. I put some organs together, I get an organ system, the digestive system, and that is part of a whole human body. Now, it's really important to remember, systems work together. They don't work in isolation. They rely on one another in order to help your body maintain homeostasis. Homeostasis, in case you didn't watch the nutrient video, is the regulation of an organism so that the internal conditions remain stable and relatively constant. So that means your internal temperature, pH, the availability of nutrients to your body, all of that is staying relatively constant. So here are 8 key connections between systems that are in the body. I'm going to talk about each one in a little bit more detail. So the first one that we have is the nervous system. The nervous system is in contact with almost every other system in your body because it's the control center of your body, because it involves your brain. And you can see in this picture that we've got the brain up here. That's controlling most of the stuff that happens. And then there are these other things, the spinal cord and your nerves, that go out to all different corners of the body in order to control it. So the nervous system is sending signals so that you can talk and walk and move and think, to make your digestive system go and your heartbeat and your breathing to happen. All of those things are ultimately controlled by your nervous system. The thing that we're going to talk about the most with your nervous system is how the muscular and the nervous systems connect. Your muscles only move because your nerves send signals that tell them to, signals that originate in your brain. So I've got a picture right here of the mouth and neck. So it's from the bottom of the jaw to the neck. And you can tell because over here you can see some teeth and a chin. And it shows all of these muscles, and then these yellow lines represent the nerves that are coming from your nervous system that will ultimately control those muscles. So these nerves are controlling your tongue. They control the muscles in your neck that keep your head upright. They also control the muscles that move your vocal cords to help you speak. So all of this happens because signals are coming through the nervous system in order to move the muscles. Other muscles that you might not have thought about are there's muscle around your stomach and your intestines to help you digest your food. Your heart is a muscle. Your diaphragm, which moves in and out to help you breathe, that's also a muscle. All of those are controlled by your nervous system. No muscles move without a signal from a nerve to help them do so. All right, another really important connection that we have to talk about is between the respiratory system and the circulatory system. Your respiratory system is your lungs, breathing in and out. Your circulatory system is your heart pumping blood and the delivery of that blood all around your body through your veins and arteries. So your respiratory system is taking care of inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. Your circulatory system is responsible for delivering the oxygen throughout your body and also taking the carbon dioxide back to your lungs so that you can exhale it. Without the connection between these two systems, you wouldn't be able to get oxygen all over through the body. You wouldn't be able to take it in if you didn't have a respiratory system, and you wouldn't be able to deliver it without a circulatory system. We'll talk a lot this year about why oxygen is so important, but the basics are if you don't have oxygen, your cells die. So both of these systems working together is crucial for you staying alive. All right, the digestive and circulatory system. So your digestive system breaks down your food, extracts those useful nutrients that will help your body work and function, and then the circulatory system carries those nutrients all throughout the body. This picture right here shows that the circulatory system really goes everywhere. There are blood vessels, arteries, and veins going everywhere in your body because every single one of your cells needs nutrients, and they can't get it without a delivery system. So here in your small intestine, this is what we looked at earlier, the small intestine is going to absorb all of those nutrients from your food, and it's going to put them into these arteries and veins that will carry the blood throughout the body and carry those nutrients that are in the blood to all of your different organs. All right, this system is a little newer for us. It's not one that my students have usually heard of, but the endocrine system is also interacting with the circulatory system. The picture that I have over here is showing the location of endocrine glands. So endocrine glands are small organs that release these special molecules called hormones that control your biological processes. So we've got some endocrine glands in the brain. The thyroid is right here in the throat, the parathyroid, and then here on top of your kidneys we have the adrenal glands, the pancreas, and then depending on whether you're male or female, you either have ovaries or testes that also release hormones. The endocrine hormones control a vast array of biological processes, including puberty, so when you go from looking like a kid to looking like an adult, when you grow, you develop the secondary sex characteristics that make you look like a man or a woman, like a beard if you're a guy or breasts if you're a girl. That process is totally controlled by hormones. The regulation of your body temperature is controlled by hormones, menstrual cycle if you're a girl, also the regulation of how much water there is in your body, so how much you pee and how much water you keep in order to help your body function. All of these hormones are carried in the bloodstream. So the thyroid gland, for example, will release a hormone and then it will be carried throughout your body in the blood. Without the blood and the circulatory system, none of these hormones could be delivered and none of those processes could happen. All right, another system that is a little tricky and that is probably new to you is the excretory system. And just like your packet said, I want to be clear, excretion is not elimination. Elimination, or egestion as it's called in another part of your summer homework, is when we poop. It's when we get rid of solid waste. The excretory system is getting rid of liquid waste and waste that is contained in liquid. And the liquid we're talking about is the blood of your circulatory system. So your excretory system, the main doer in the excretory system is the kidney. And it's going to remove excess fluids and other waste from your blood. So the kidneys act as filters. And we can see that the circulatory system, these are arteries and veins that go directly to the kidney, and that's because it has to deliver the blood to the kidney to get filtered, and then take the blood back and put it back into the rest of your body after it has been filtered. one of the key points is that the endocrine system, like I mentioned in the previous slide, actually controls how much water you keep in your body at any given time. It controls whether you need to pee excess water out or whether you're getting dehydrated and whether you need to keep that water. So the endocrine system is actually sending hormone signals to your kidneys to control whether water is kept or whether water is released. All right, last one, the immune system and the circulatory system. The immune system is mostly made up of white blood cells that form the majority of our internal defenses. These cells actually fight viruses and bacteria that are inside of us that are trying to make us sick. So these white blood cells are carried in the bloodstream. Here's a blood vessel, an artery or a vein, and the white blood cells are actually carried through it in the circulatory system. So now that we've talked about these things, really focus on what are the connections between these systems so that you know how these systems are interacting and dependent on one another. As always, if you have any questions, text me or email me. See you soon.